morning, Sagittarius. That's me. Sagittarius rising. Jupiter in Sagittarius. That's me. Good morning. Oh my God. This week, I have been working. Work. Ah! Yo, no, seriously. Seriously. I have been working. And it's been for you. Of course for me, but for you. So yesterday I finally finished the People's Oracle monthly horoscope workbook. I don't even know how I come up with these things. I'm amazing. So the monthly horoscope workbook is, what the heck? Okay, I see what you're doing. The monthly horoscope workbook is up on my store. Link is in my bio. But anyways, what I want to talk to you about today is that I did a video last week and I tried to tell you, and I did a video like 2 or 3 weeks ago I tried to tell you. And I know that the astrology that you hear from me is swimming in a sea of astrological cacophonies from other astrologers. That I am not the only astrologer that you get content from. I understand that. But I also know that I'm the only astrologer out here doing this sidereal astrology thing. I'm innovating. And so what I share with you is not reinforced elsewhere. And it's really like I'm just battling the narratives in your mind. Like I'm battling the astrology in your mind. But I am going to reinforce what I've been telling you for like months now, really like a year, because I started talking about it last year, is that we're in eclipse season. This is the Gemini phase of mutable madness. And I just need for everyone to stop. Well, no, you can do what you want to do. I'm not going to say that. But what I am going to say is that, like, it's so much fun to, like, do the, how Gemini are you, right? But, you know, me, I'm, like, super practical, right? Like, Gemini is literally paper, records, recordings, letters, correspondence, emails, mail, packages, the post office, the radio, the newspaper, the magazine, the blog, the website, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All of these things are Mercury, which is the planet in charge of Gemini, so that whenever anything is in Gemini, it's answering to Mercury and referring to all of these mercurial things. So when you look around the news and we're literally talking about exams, we're literally talking about audio recordings of phone conversations, we're literally talking about transcripts of testimonies. Mercury. When we want to get someone saying something on the record, Mercury. When we file papers, Mercury. When we sign a contract, Mercury. When we're making a list, Mercury. You see this all around you? It's everywhere. It's totally everywhere. So, all of that to say, we're in eclipse season. And I told you that, like, once a planet entered Gemini, which was Mars on May 6th, it was on and popping, right? Now, you can look around, you can see this out in the world. I'm not making it up. Words mean things. Oh my God, you just can't say anything. And words mean things so much that if you say them under oath and you lied, it's a crime. Words mean so much that if you don't come and talk, you're going to be put in contempt of court. Do you see how this works? Words mean things. Names mean things. Did you see that story about I believe it was the Japanese emperor, prime minister, not sure what the role was, but they were considering sending a notice to news organizations internationally to put the family name first when referring to Japanese citizens, Japanese names, because words mean things. Culturally, your family name comes first in Japan. Culturally, your family name comes first in China. This is how their culture and society, their relations are structured. So it's actually disrespectful to not call them what they call themselves. That's just like really, I would say, a big theme or a mood for Gemini, right? Like, are you calling people what they want to be called? Words mean things, names mean things. Are you calling people the name that they have given themselves, or that the name that they have been given and want to be called? Are you? Are you using the appropriate word? Hi. Are you using the appropriate word that we've agreed is how you refer to this thing? Or are you saying what you want to say because you're an asshole? Right? Words mean things. And I think inevitably when we talk about words meaning things, gaslighting is just like a natural consequence of this conversation. Because gaslighting is like, I didn't say that. Well, that's not what I meant. It's like, bitch, that's exactly what you said and exactly what you meant. You want to fight, right? Like, that's how I feel about gaslighting, right? I feel about gaslighting like, I just watched you do that. You just watched yourself do it. And you're going to try to tell me that you didn't do it? You're going to try to tell me that you didn't say it? You're nuts. And I'm not crazy. You're crazy and you're an asshole, right? Like, I feel like we just need to start using asshole really freely, because most people are walking around like human anuses, right? They're walking around like rectums. They're behaving like rectums. They're talking like anuses. So we should just call them assholes, right? But I feel that in my spirit this morning because people use words all willy-nilly, and they say things and then expect you to not react to it, right? Like, they say things knowing that these words mean things and that they're going to make you feel a certain way. And then when you feel that way, well, that's not what I said. That's like, I'm feeling that in my spirit this morning. I feel like we've been collectively gaslit for like the past insert number of years. And I just feel like it's really time to start calling people on their shit, right? Like, no, you said it, you meant it. And so now you have to deal with the consequences of your words. You told Comey to stop the investigation. That's obstruction of justice, dude. You meant it. That's what you meant. And so now you have to deal with the consequences. You lied under oath. Like, you put your hand on the book and you said this thing. Like, you took the oath and then you lied. Words mean things. Like, you told me that this is what was happening, and now you're trying to act like you didn't say it. Like, words mean things, dude. So don't try to switch it up on me, because we're gonna fight. Like, we're gonna fight. If you Winter, you're hilarious. Like if you can't honor your word, then we're gonna fight. Like, I just fought with my son in the car this morning because Mr. Virgo rising with Mars in Virgo and Saturn in Virgo and Sun in Gemini, like, he thinks that anything he says is a fact. And I'm like, bruh, that's not how that works, right? Like, a fact is something that is I don't know what observable means. Yeah, you can spell it though, little smart ass, right? Like, that's how I feel about him sometimes. I'm just saying. So all of that to say, like, I really can't wait for Mercury to get in Gemini, because I just kind of feel like once Mercury gets in Gemini, like, we're really going to see what this whole words mean things is about. And we're going to really see how, like, you just can't be saying stuff. Like you can't decide what words mean. And you can't decide how words make people feel, right? Like you want to say this thing, you want to get it off your chest, you want to speak your mind. But guess what? Like, people are going to feel a certain way, and they're going to respond behaviorally a certain way in response to your words. And you can't control how other people respond to your words. You cannot control how other people respond to your words. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Words mean things. This is Gemini. Like, I'm beating this in your head because when you get off of here, like, people are going to be like throwing memes in your face about what Gemini is. And then like the week of the eclipses, everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, it's the eclipses. And it's like, dude, the People's Oracle has been talking about this for like a year. Where have you been? She's been saying words mean things for like a year. She's been talking about redefining truth in regard to these eclipses for like a year. Like, where have you been? Right? And they're gonna be talking about eclipses. They're gonna be talking about eclipses in Cancer and Capricorn, and that's cool, and they can make it mean whatever they want. But I'm telling you, like, I really don't have to tell you because the evidence is really clear. Like, I literally made an eclipse guide, and I literally made a list of significations that literally had the word exam on it. I literally did this in November, and literally there was a scam that got exposed under one of these fucking Gemini Sagittarius moons about the College Board exam scandal. Like, so you can say whatever you want. All I'm saying is that go buy my monthly horoscope workbook. No, seriously. Right. So yeah. So this is what's going on. The other thing that's still going on is this whole Taurus Scorpio thing. And let me just tell you how personally I'm sick of it. I'm over it. Like, bad part is that Jupiter is going to be in Scorpio until November 4th, which is just like, I'm tired of rehashing old stuff. Like, I'm tired of, can I get something new? That's what I want. I want new. I want some new. That's what I'm saying. Right? But anyways, so like next week, we have Mercury and Taurus opposing Jupiter in Scorpio, which is, let me see. The first opposition was Mars. This one person driving like 40 miles an hour and a 45 mile an hour speed limit is like slowing down all of traffic, like the whole everything, right? Anyways, so the first opposition across this axis was like May 5th, I believe, or 6th, and that was Mars in Taurus opposed Jupiter in Scorpio. And that was terrible. Like, I literally had to duck and cover. Like, I had to get off the social media because it was a lot. Taurus, Scorpio, remember the second time that we highlighted this opposition across these two signs was at the full moon, which is just last week, and I'm not going to rehash it because the ripple effect is still rippling through our stuff, okay? But what I want to say is that we still have two more oppositions across the Taurus-Scorpio axis. No, 3. We have 3, okay? So the first one was Mars in Taurus opposed Jupiter in Scorpio. That one was particularly volatile because Mars, in the sign of its detriment, opposed a planet that Mars is in charge of. And so Mars is all out of sorts trying to assert itself. And here comes Jupiter and Scorpio, like, so we're gonna work this out or not? And Mars and Taurus was like, I'm confused. I don't even know what the expectation is here, right? So the second one was the full moon. Third one is Mercury opposed Jupiter next week. Fourth one is Sun opposed Jupiter the following week. And then the last one is Venus opposed Jupiter. So you all should really be getting comfortable with this Taurus-Scorpio axis. I'm just saying, like, you really deserve to thrive. Like, you deserve to be validated. You are entitled to be validated by your community. But it's like, you want to be accepted by a certain group of people, but you don't want to participate. Like, you don't want to like learn the expectations. Like, you don't want to figure out what your role is and how you fit. Like, it's just kind of a catch-22 because Scorpio is like, fuck these people, right? Like, literally, that's what Scorpio is like. Scorpio is like, I'm out for myself. I don't have time for you all to be triggering all of my trauma. I don't have time to deal with your ostracization and rejection, and you're not going to make me conform. Meanwhile, Taurus is like, conform, 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 assimilate, put on your ceremonial robe in order to participate in the ritual. Meanwhile, Scorpio is like, no, I'm not, right? I'm not going to participate in this. So my whole point in bringing all of this up is that while we have eclipse triggers happening, there's another narrative going on that's just as loud. So we're trying to have conversations. We're trying to speak our mind. Words mean things. Dealing with the consequences of our words. Feeling how we feel because of other people's words. Wishing we didn't say certain words. Wishing that we did say other words. People criticizing our words. People taking our words and tying them up into knots and trying to make them into something that we actually did not say. People not understanding words. People not knowing how to read words. People not knowing how to write words. People writing words and didn't even know what they meant when they wrote them. Woo! Communication is a doozy, and I'm just realizing with this whole words mean things that people don't know what words mean, or that they really cannot bridge the gap between their feelings and thoughts and the words. Like, they really just struggle. So I'm trying to have more patience with people who aren't really the best communicators, but it's driving me crazy because it's like we have to come to some kind of understanding, and words are the only thing that we have, kind of. I mean, we have like our gut instinct, and we have, you know, the capacity to, you know, interpret somebody's intention, but at the same time, just fucking say what you mean. Good Lord. I know y'all feel me. I know I'm not the only one dealing with this. So the other narrative is the whole survive versus thrive. Trying to re-engage with community when you feel ostracized, or trying to find your community, or trying to figure out how to be identified by your community. Who are the people who will validate and accept you? And you might find that the people that you wanted to validate and accept you never will, or they cannot. But that does not mean you are not entitled to being validated and accepted. You are entitled to being validated and accepted. But have you figured out how others see you? This is a big thing about Taurus that's not talked about enough. That because we're talking about Venus, there's something here to be said about the being able to gauge how other people see us. But with Taurus, this is more about the consensus around how, let me see if I can explain this right. If I'm a doctor and I want people to see me as a doctor, then I will dress like a doctor, right? I will put on a white coat. I will, you know, maybe have a clipboard or wear a stethoscope around my neck. Now, some of this is by choice. Some of this is just the accoutrement of the job, right? Like, I need a stethoscope to listen to people's lungs and heart, right? But we can apply that in a personal sense, right? Like, you identify as something, a gender, a race, a profession, as being of a certain persona. But in order to be validated as such, people need to recognize you as such. And Taurus teaches us that you just can't say you're a doctor, right? You just can't say a lot of things, okay? But we try. But the fact is, there are visual aesthetic cues that make you identifiable in a certain way. And so this is a reality that we cannot ignore. Well, there are blind people, but there are blind people. Okay, let's just say that. But for seeing people, they are observing your appearance, your dress, your gait, your walk. You know, they're observing you, and they're measuring your appearance against who you say you are, or what your designation is, or even drawing conclusions about who you are based on how you look. Now, you can decide that you want to look any way you want to look, but the fact of the matter is that people are going to judge you based on your appearance, for good or ill. So do with that what you want. That's Taurus, right? And on the other hand, like, if you really want to be identified by a certain group of people as a certain thing, then maybe it's time to switch it up, right? It's time to switch it up. But also, like, you can't go and pout and be like, why don't they see me? And you're not showing yourself, right? That's all I really wanted to say. I really just wanted to get on here and tell you about Gemini eclipse season and how this is ongoing and how you should be watching the moon transit mutable signs. Next up is Pisces next week. And I also wanted to tell you about my monthly horoscope workbook that I published yesterday. I did a live video telling you about it. This monthly horoscope workbook is meant to teach you all about a lunar return chart, which is your personal monthly horoscope. It means that your personal month actually starts the minute the moon returns to the sign it occupies in your birth chart. If you are, for example, Capricorn moon, then your lunar return began, your personal month began yesterday at 1:30 something a.m. Central Time, right? Okay, you see what I'm saying? So your personal month begins the minute the moon returns to the sign it occupies in your natal chart. That's why you need the 2019 sidereal moon transits iCal file. And I just put up the 2020 sidereal moon transits iCal file. And let me tell you about them eclipses in Scorpio next year. I hope y'all ready. I think that we all are like mad about Scorpio right now, because first it was Saturn, now it's Jupiter, and next year are the eclipses. I hope y'all understand what Scorpio is really about now. And I hope that you guys have let go of that whole sex nonsense that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Foolishness. But yeah, I might talk a little bit more about my monthly horoscope workbook on Twitter. But go check it out. There's a blog post on my website that shows you how to cast your lunar return chart. So you don't need to buy the horoscope workbook to do that. But if you want to know how to interpret, how to identify the 4 most important parts of your lunar return, how to interpret them, the worksheets that will help you interpret your lunar return, the new and full moon, right? I even have a worksheet in there that so that you can write out all 13 of your lunar returns in a year, and then you can see the patterns of signs and planets. In my video yesterday, I showed y'all a screenshot of my own spreadsheet that I did for that. Your live keeps pausing and skipping. Sorry. I don't know what to do about that. Maybe on the replay it'll be fine. I don't know. But I do my best here. I think I'm just gonna go now and talk to you guys later when technology wants to be my friend. All right. Happy birthday, whoever's birthday it is today. Happy solar return. Happy Friday. Happy 3-day weekend. Happy Memorial Day to all my vets out there. I know I got some clients who are veterans. While I'm down with the patriarchy and the military industrial complex, I am supportive of you in your career trajectory, and I am supportive of you being treated well for the work you put in. And I hope that we can get on the same page collectively in this country of making sure veterans have the health care, mental health care, education, re-entry into society, all of that stuff that they need is so important. All right, you all have a happy Friday. Goodbye.